You better. Greetings, YouTube! This is Longbow. Well, once again, I was wandering through the old hardware store looking for something I could weaponize, and, well, I came across this. So, what these are concrete nails. As you can see here, they're 3/4 of an inch long, and they weigh 420 grams in total, which is kind of funny. I find it weird that they're using both imperial and metric, but what are you gonna do? So here they are. Quite nasty looking little projectiles. You could theoretically fire these with a slingshot, as they are, but they would end up tumbling and rolling around, and I want these things to stick into a target. So basically, I gotta put little fletchings or streamers on them in order to orient the point, right here, in the direction of travel. So in order to do that, I just take two little pieces of string here, and I'm going to tie these into a square knot. Watch carefully. Put one over the other, twist it over, twist it under, and there's our square knot. So you'll notice there's a loop in the middle. I'm just going to make sure my pieces of yarn are aligned so that all the ends are the same length. And before pulling the square knot perfectly tight, we're going to take our concrete nail, make sure you can see, and I'm going to pass it through this hole in the middle of the knot. Now that the nail's there, pull it tightly. So we have this, 2 strings on the top, 2 strings on the bottom. Now to finalize the little dart here, I'm going to take this string and tie it to this string on the back of the nail. So I'll just do right over left, pull that tight, making sure the knot is right across the back of the head of the nail here. I'll take the other 2 threads and I'll tie them together. Once again, going right over left and pulling it tight. I'll take the other 2 strings again, left over right this time. Pull it tight. And the final 2. Left over right. And pull it tight. Now what you end up with is this nail with 4 strings coming off the back of it. Now this thread is actually a little bit too big. The thread I used, for the most part, like in practice, this is just a demonstration model, but the thread I used normally was this finer thread here. I'll just take my cutter, cut these 4 things evenly, and there's my dart. Now if you're not too proficient with tying knots, there's another method you can use. Again, I have a square knot with a small loop in the middle here. Take a nail, pass it through the hole, pull it tightly so we got 2 strings on that side, 2 strings on this side, and rather than tying them, I'm just going to use a little piece of tape to secure them. So I'll make sure they're lined up nicely to begin with, and I'll just give it a bit of a twist thusly. And I'll take a very thin stretch of piece of tape here. This is about 4 millimeters wide. And I'll take my nail, position it on there, and just proceed to wrap it with the tape. That's good enough. Just gotta play with it a bit. It's not quite as pretty as the other one, but this is quite strong, and it will work in a slingshot. Once again, I'll just trim off the X. And there's the dart with the tape on it instead of using knots. I'd have to say this one is probably superior. This one's a little easier to make if you're not good with knots. Now, these nails are actually more economical than using standard 9.5mm steel balls. To buy these, you need $7, and you get 75 of these. But with the nails, you pay $3 and you get 185 of these. The difference is the nails weigh 2.3 grams and the steel balls weigh 3.3 grams. So you actually have more material with these, but it takes a little work. So I've gone ahead and prepared a couple of these ahead of time. 100 of them. 102 to be precise. So let's see how to fire these with a slingshot. Well, it's actually a little too cold outside for slingshots to be effective. We have the great Canadian winter bearing down upon us. So I'll just be doing a little bit of indoor plinking. Well, technically it's not plinking. So when you're firing nails, it's not plinking. It's planking. Planking. Here we have a wooden plank. It's made of pine. And I'm gonna embed some nails in it with a slingshot. So the way you fire these nifty little projectiles is you take the head of the nail right here, flat part, and you put that in the hole in the center of your pouch where you normally put your ball bearing. And you make sure that the point faces upwards, like this. Got the point on the top and the little streamer deals on the bottom. And now we'll stick it in the board. Bingo. The bands are still good. Right next to the first one. Let's try shooting a couple with this here slingshot. It doesn't have a name. So let's draw it for a name, shall we? I have in this box 6 little tokens bearing the names of the suggestions that some of the viewers of my last video gave me. So basically I've got 2 for Doberman knives, I got 2 for Skallagrim Nilsson, and I've got 2 for Pico Chihuahua. So I'll just give it a good shake. And I'll pull out the first one that lands in my hand. It is in this little piece of paper. I don't know if you'll be able to read it. The winner is... the Hereticaster. Thank you, Skallagrim Nilsson, for coming up with that. I think that's a pretty damn sweet name. So, we'll shoot a couple of these bad boys with the Hereticaster. So this little bad boy will be whipping past my face at about 60 kilometers an hour or so. That should be fun. Oh yeah. Heretic casted. Well, here they are up close. As you can see, they've embedded themselves in the board quite firmly. Just to demonstrate how firmly, I'll pull one out. Pretty tight. Not too shabby. Bullseye! Dang it, I hate when I hit nails. And it just doesn't look as cool. Well, these little guys are a lot of fun, but what's the next logical step? I figure instead of using these tiny little nails here, I could use something a little bigger, like a bolt and a nut. Just add a little mass. Once this is sharpened, it weighs 10 times as much as these little things, and it looks pretty damn badass, I must admit. So let's see what these do. They get loaded into the pouch the same way as the little ones. Point on top, strings below. There's also about 10 times as much yarn there. We'll see what this does to yon board. Now it might look like they're not actually working, but I assure you they are, as I'll show you shortly. Let's take a closer look. And closer still. Now it may look like those things were just hitting and bouncing off, but as you can see by these strange holes they're making, you can get a clear impression of the head of the nut and a very large hole. Here's another one. Hexagon with a hole in the middle. And I've been shooting these things quite a bit. So what they're doing is the point is going in. Where am I looking here? But it's actually the bolt is hitting and then bouncing off and popping the thing back out of the board. And these little holes are quite deep. There's one pointing kind of upwards. Let's see, we got another one right there. Kind of went in at a bit of an angle. Sorry if this is shaky. Whoop. There's one here. They're all over the place. And yeah, despite the fact that they're bouncing out, they are going in and penetrating, and these things are certainly enough to do in a squirrel or a deer. So I figured the reason why they're not sticking in there is because the material's too soft, and once it reaches the nut on the bolt, it just bounces the point back out. So I'm going to try shooting at something a little bit harder. Instead of that pine board, I've got a fir piece of plywood here, and as you can see there, I've taped a couple of plates of 1/8 of an inch thick aluminum on there. So we'll try penetrating both of these materials. So, time for round 2. Stuck in the pine board. And hit the plate. Wonder if it made a dent. And I've hit it twice now. You can see 2 little dents there. One on the left, one on the right. Oops. Let's keep that between you and me. I think that's enough of that. I'm pretty sure the solution would be a longer point on the thing, so that the knot doesn't interfere with the penetration. But we'll save that for the next video. Thanks for watching.